There you go. Okay, hey, welcome to Mental Toughness Monday. We're so excited to have you here with us. And if you're catching the replay, thanks for catching the replay. We are on number 42. No, last week was 42. We're on
43.
number 43. The world class has great expectations. But let's do talk for just a minute about the world class belief system that drives champions from last week. Any thoughts about the your belief system? The action step I'll remind you was generally speaking, is your belief system poverty class, middle class, or world class? Ask this critical thinking question. Do my drive and ambition mirror my beliefs? If you're not sure of the answer, check your results in the areas of your life where you exhibit the most ambition. So that was the thing to think about for last week. And a lot of that was just like getting into alignment with your own beliefs. Like how can you get your beliefs to match your goals? Any thoughts on that? Did anybody have any experiences they want to share or
Well, sometimes that belief is forced. And last week was one example of that. 10 days ago, I got bit by a wasp on the ear, made my ear swell twice as bad as my brother thought I was going to fly out of the room. And but then 2 days ago, I got bit again, but it was a rough one this time. I temporarily blind, losing my hearing. My passageways were shutting down. I had to go to ER, and I had to make a decision. What do I believe? Do I believe I want to live? I do. And that belief, in concert with the medical care, made it happen. That's about as strong of a example as I could give of a belief system and how it works.
yes. Yeah, no, I'm glad you took time to consider, do I want to live? Yes, I do. It's a good, really good thing. Yeah, and I think that's like in the moment, like you know what your belief is when you're faced with a crisis like that, right? You find your belief really quickly. And even if you didn't know or you didn't think you had a strong belief, maybe it hadn't really occurred to you before, like how much you want to live. But then you were like, oh, I'm making a clear decision. I'm moving forward with this belief. I was thinking about that also with our Sassy Habits program, and I was thinking about how so I think I'm down 30 pounds today, but I can't remember what my start weight was, so I was going to look it up. But but if I'm not 30, then I'm like within a half a pound of having lost 30 pounds since July 11th is when I started. But the belief that we've talked a little bit over the course of things about moderation and how we have this belief and our doctors even tell us um don't be extreme, just be moderate. You just need to eat, junk food in moderation. But how is moderation working for you? Because I'm not typically a binger, right? I mean, I remember just feeling this way all the time. Like, you'll talk to like a coach or some kind of specialist or whatever, and you're sitting there talking about your diet, and they know you're lying about your diet because of your results, right? So obviously you're lying about your diet. But I remember just sitting there being like, should I start drinking soda so I can stop and lose 20 pounds? Should I, because like I don't even eat sugar every day. At least I didn't think I did. But of course, now we know it's in like everything. And so you have to really pay attention and clean things up. And then like once a week, we would have pizza or I'd make cookies with the kids or something like that. That feels like moderation to me, right? And yet, my results over all of the years so I got pregnant. I think I was the first time I got pregnant, I think I weighed 165 pounds. I think I weighed 165 pounds the first time I got pregnant. And then I lost that baby. And by the time I got pregnant with Madison, I weighed 200 pounds, 201, I think. And I remember stepping off the scale and remembering a commitment that I had made to myself as a teenager, a very rash commitment that if I ever hit 200 pounds, I'd kill myself. And realizing also I did not want to die. I wanted to live. So I decided that that was a bad idea and I was just going to deal with being over 200 pounds. And I've been over 200 pounds for ever since 30 years, close to 30 years now. And I've done various things, up and down, but never have I decided that I am going to, at a really meaningful level, except for that one time 9 years ago. And then I lost 30 pounds in 2 months. Um, but this decision of like, I'm not going to be moderate anymore with garbage. I'm just not going to eat it. It's just not going to be a part of my life. And everything has changed with that significantly. And also just the blessing of having Dr. Watt's supplement protocol on top of that is just so healing and so beautiful. And I am so excited because, you think it's working and then you're like, oh, what if it stops working? Right. But you have to keep going and trusting your body and really build that belief in what your body is capable of. And anyway, those are just some of my thoughts about that one. Any other thoughts about last week before we move on to this week?
Well, I want to make one last statement on this, in line with what you just said. Uh, I started at 218 pounds. I got down to 201 pounds. I went to the hospital. They loaded me up so that I gained 7 more.
Oh
And
my
that,
gosh.
and now I'm back to 201. So I still think that's progress.
That is progress after everything you've been through. Your body's just like, oh, we got to do some stuff with all this. I'm sure they had you on a lot of IV fluids too, and
Right.
all the things. So
I
very
do.
interesting.
Yeah, so it's interesting to think about this belief behind like it's basically what drives us, right? And what like the decisions that we make are based upon a belief somewhere. And quite often, like how you shared that example of your belief that if I hit 200 pounds, I'm gonna end my life. And um like we all take on a belief for every
Yeah.
decision because of either an experience that we personally go through or because of watching someone else go through an experience. And so I feel like just cleaning up those beliefs for
Hmm.
me it has been life changing. Like
Yeah.
that's where I'm seeing the progress in the direction to my goals is by
Yeah.
cleaning up this belief.
Yes. And that's always the thing that you have to clean up because nothing works without your belief. Like,
Right.
I mean, you won't make the decision to do something if you don't believe that flipping the light switch is going to turn on the light, you won't flip it.
Right. And you won't stick to flipping that light every time.
Mm.
Like it just won't continue.
Yeah. Yeah. So you do have to have at least at the very minimum suspend your disbelief, right? Um,
Curiosity. Yeah. At least have curiosity.
yeah,
Actually, that's the strongest is curiosity.
I love that. Okay, let's do 43. The world class has great expectations. Does anybody want to read or do you want me to read? I'm good to read, but sometimes people like to hear somebody else read.
You're a good reader. Read.
All right, I'll do it. One of the greatest discoveries I've made in the last 2 decades as a mental toughness coach is the realization that world-class performers are driven by positive expectations. In other words, the great ones always expect to win regardless of what they are up against. The next discovery I made was that this same positive expectation could be installed in anyone who wishes to possess it. It's a programming process that is easy to do. All it takes is desire and persistence. Champions begin this programming process by creating the language they use when they talk to themselves, as well as pictures they visualize. World-class performers literally talk themselves into believing anything that gives them a mental edge. Call it positive brainwashing, programming, affirmation training, autosuggestion, whatever label you use. Champions call it their ace in the hole. While most amateur performers rely on positive experience to build positive expectation, professional performers are superstars in their minds long before they are superstars in reality. Why wait for Mother Nature to produce snow at a ski resort when it can be artificially produced right now? Then, when it does snow, it simply adds powder to a very solid base. Expectation works, whether it's built from real experience or programming. The advantage of programming is it's guaranteed to happen, while experience may or may not occur. All right, what do you think about that?
That sounds like cybernetics.
Right? Where's Mary today? She was talking about that last week. Oh, she's on vacation, I remember. Um, yeah, no, that is awesome. So you can decide to program it or you can wait for experiences to show up for you, right? I love that. Okay, the quote is from John R. Spanuth or Spanuth, President, United States Water Fitness Association. He said, as your consciousness expands, your level of expectation will grow. Keep asking yourself, am I selling myself short? Most of us are. Wow. And then we have a world-class resource. Build a personal and professional board of advisors comprised of people who have a much higher level of expectation than you. Spend as much time with them as possible. One of the fastest ways to raise your level of expectation is to associate with world-class thinkers. And then he has the National Board of Advisors. If you want to see his, you can go to www.govsiebold.com. There's an in-depth interview with each member of our board, and that will give you a better feel for who these people are and how they think. And I don't know if his website is still good. Um, so any thoughts on autosuggestion, on programming, affirmation training?
Well, I'd like some examples of uh, programming. I mean, you could do tapping, maybe.
Yep. Yep. You could
You
do,
said kinetics.
oh, why? Oh, Linda was trying to get in.
She said she was getting an error.
Oh, I don't know what that's about. That's weird. Um, yes. So there's lots of things, and Mary's emotional healing group, Break the Chains, on Tuesday morning does a method of working through beliefs and seeing them differently and watching them dissipate and dissolve. Also the emotions app is one that I absolutely love because you can go in and look at the body systems. Like you can pick a system that you, or an emotion, or if you just want to know what your oil that you're feeling drawn to would be good for. Um, Once you're in, for instance, if I look under the body, if I look under the urinary system, underlying emotions are blaming the self, blaming others, hopeless, angry, unfulfilled, or toxic. Um, so somebody that just heard those, just pick one of those and I'll drill down and tell you what the formation that comes in with it.
Say those again.
Yeah.
Blaming self, blaming others, hopeless, angry, unfulfilled, or toxic.
Blaming self.
Blaming self. Okay, great. So first with the urinary system, the emotional root is anger towards your life, yourself, or others. And then it has a question as you look deeper. What will it take to believe I am deserving of love? What has not turned out as I planned? Am I afraid to let go of old ways of doing things? So these are just like questions for reflection or journaling. Then you can click on those underlying emotions. So we're going with blaming self. And then it will tell you there are some oils that can help with that. Bergamot is one of them, clove is another, copaiba, and blue lotus. And then
Where
it
are you
gives you,
where are you reading from?
What
this is
what's
the
the
Essential Emotions app.
Wow.
And then it has additional questions of looking deeper. What do I feel I have done wrong myself for my past mistakes? What will it take for me to release guilt and forgive myself? Again, self reflection, journaling to help yourself to start to look at the things and not just because sometimes we take those emotions and we just kind of keep balling them up and just running with them because we can't. But if you'll stop and take the time to ask these questions of looking deeper, and then there's a declaration, which is, I now accept, forgive, and allow myself to move forward. So this is where you could tap with that declaration. You can write it over and over. You could record it of yourself, and then you can visualize at the same time. And they give you a visualization here too, which says visualize releasing guilt and shame from everywhere it is stored in your body. See a river washing away your pain and leaving you cleansed and renewed. Imagine yourself starting again, undefined by the past. So now you've done all of that with one of those oils. Like if you grab the bergamot, say let's you just have the bergamot and then you breathe that in, you make the declaration, you create that visualization. These are ways that you can help yourself overcome limiting beliefs that have been holding you back about any of your goals. So that's a great resource. The Essential Emotions app. I'm trying to see if I can if I can show you. There you go. Picture. Can you see that?
Is that a subscription for the?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. But it's
So
like a
they
one
update
time, isn't
it.
it?
Yeah, and they update it after convention with the new oils. I love it.
And do we
I
Well,
pay?
they
Is
must.
it like 449 a year, or I think that's Modern Essentials. I think this one they just update.
Yeah, I think it's a one-time fee, unless they've changed it and new.
I they may have changed it on the Wednesday call last week. I think he was talking about he wasn't sure if it was $24 a year or something.
Really? Okay, they might have changed it.
But yeah, I've never updated mine.
Well,
Mine's
some of
just
the
on its
some
own. Like,
Let's
sorry, Gina.
see.
Go ahead, Dad.
well, well, I think if we couple this with the greatest of all time, the GOAT of this is the Savior.
Mm-hmm.
As a man thinketh, so is he.
Yeah.
What think ye of Christ? And his prophet said, think celestial. I've thought a lot about that. And any time we're involved in stinking thinking, we can change it with those spiritual tools.
Yeah, I love that.
I found that as I clear out the limiting beliefs and the things that are holding me back, and then plug in, like, I love the suggestions from the app, the things that we can think. I've made a recording, and I need to update it again, like add to it and change it up. But when I am doing exercises in the morning, I found if I play that while I'm doing my exercises, because I'm involving my body as
Yep.
another way to soak that in. And then as if I smile really big at this
Mm-hmm.
while I'm doing it, you guys try it. It is so crazy how much like I don't even know what to call it yet. It's just like power. I just feel so invigorated and empowered,
That's
and
awesome.
belief that those things, it's like, oh yeah, that's who I am. Okay, we got this. We can do this.
I
So
love it.
include the smile and move the body and just like watch what happens. It's awesome.
Love it.
No, that's amazing. I love it. Go ahead. What was that, Dad?
Just said I love it.
Yeah. So good. Okay, our action step for today, and then we'll wrap it up. Outline your expectations in every area of your life, and then ask the ultimate critical thinking question. Should I expect more? If your answer is yes, raise your expectations and upgrade how you talk to yourself and others about your heightened aspirations. Love that. I think it's very unpopular to expect more. Maybe you even will get a lot of pushback on like, why can't you just be satisfied, or why are you so greedy, or whatever. You might hear that in your own mind.
I have.
Oh yeah.
But that's that opportunity to upgrade your language around that, even to yourself, so that you can move forward with the things that you
Oh,
desire. And recognize also, I mean, it's a great opportunity as you're listing those things out and reflecting on them. It's a great opportunity to consider the results of reaching those goals and what that brings into your life, what that allows you to be more involved in maybe some of the other things that you wish you could be involved in, but because of health or finances or whatever, you aren't able to at this time. And so, give yourself the grace, but also let's upgrade our thinking.
Love it.
so I found the Access Now button on that emotions guide to get the full oil, body, and emotions guide subscription. Like this, it must include more. It's only $14.99 a year. Access Now.
Well,
So
there you go.
if you go to
And you
register,
can also purchase the book. You can get the new book every year, which is about the same price. So
20,
whichever, it's
but yeah,
20 for the book.
yeah.
Yeah. I think it's very valuable. It's something that I go to at different, I like to have the different because I love Droply. I also have a Modern Essentials subscription, which is I think $5 a year. And then I love the emotions because you bring in Droply and the Modern Essentials where you're just like, okay, let's look at, kind of the scientific stuff. Then you bring in the emotional pieces, then you ask a few more questions, and it really becomes, for yourself or for others, an opportunity to dig a little deeper and find out what's going on in there. It's also probably a really good idea to be involved in this kind of stuff during phase two, where you are literally pulling the weeds of all the stuff. I don't know if anyone has been experiencing more emotions during this pull the weeds section of time. Um, I definitely have, but I never know if that's just because I'm still, trying to, settle into whatever the change is going to look like for me.
I think it's
Or
all
if it's the planets, we got the planets doing all kinds of crazy crap. So,
yep.
would you say, Mary?
Yeah, I think it's all related.
Yeah, I do too. But regardless of what the source is of the different issues that you might be facing, there are solutions. You can go and look and find and reach out to the community and get the help that you need. So, all right. Well, thanks for being here for Mental Toughness Monday. We'll see
Thank you.
you
Sure
next time.
grateful for it. Thank you so much.
You have a
Yeah.
team question after you
Yes.
stop.
Oh,
Did
yeah.
you want to do that here?
Oh, I will just go ahead and stop the recording.